Hello there, and welcome to Life Lessons with Barbara. And thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Barbara Aline Johnson, and I'm here to share some life lessons that have made a positive difference in my life. Lessons I hope will benefit yours as well. I'm also the lead life coach and owner of BEJ and Associates LLC, a coaching and consulting company. My amazing team and I specialize in helping you dismantle or work around barriers and obstacles that can stand between you and the life you truly want to live, or that business you want to create, that relationship you'd like to have, or that masterpiece. And I hope you're enjoying my mellow theme music in the background. That's After the Rain, created by the phenomenal Lois Lady Mac McMorris, lead guitarist par excellence and co-sponsor of Life Lessons with Barbara. You can download After the Rain and even visit Lady Mac's website by going to my website. And that's bej-associates.com/radio. And if you'll scroll down once you get there, if you scroll down a little further, you'll find our program archive where you can see as well as hear all the programs we've done so far. Take a look. Again, that's bej-associates.com/radio. The show that follows features another one of my extraordinary associates with BEJ and Associates, and her name is Cindy Goulding. Cindy, oh my goodness, she has so many qualifications in terms of working with people and coaching people. For us, her primary purpose is to address issues related to workplace health. So she's a specialist in that department. But she's also the author of Healthy Weight, It's a Family Affair. So stay tuned and meet the wonderful Miss Cindy Goulding. And you're listening to Life Lessons with Barbara. Okay, thanks again for tuning in. I'm excited to introduce to you another associate of mine, and all of them are awesome, but she has a multitude of skills, and I can't wait for you to meet her. Her name is Cindy Goulding, and I'm just going to turn it over to her and let her tell you a little bit about her journey. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Barbara. Thank you for this opportunity. It's always a pleasure working with you and collaborating like we did during our mastermind groups where we met and just grew together, professionally and personally.
Yes.
So that was a beautiful journey together, and here we are.
Yeah.
You've got a radio.
No, yeah, Sterling reminded me about that was one of the things I kind of envisioned. You know how she is. Mm-hmm. She has these ways of pulling the stuff out of you where you start to have all this self-discovery, and then she remembers and reminds you. So and right. So she brought that up too when I had it was just a whimsical idea. I never thought it would happen. So here we are.
Living our dream.
Yes. So, okay, so we all started out together. First, we worshiped together at Unity Church of the triangle, and it was our mutual associate, Sterling, who came up with this bright idea of the mastermind group. So what did you think when, I was just curious, what did you guys think about that when she first brought it up? Had you ever heard of it? Did you know how it was supposed to work?
No, I never heard of a mastermind group. I had an idea of, just the term. And I thought, this is brilliant, because my husband and I at the time were just creating our own business together, still working our full-time jobs, but really wanting to do more and reach more people.
Yeah.
And it was just perfect timing. She came to us wanting us to join the group, and it was just such a beautiful process to work together and hold each other accountable and be the support system, and just see each other really having their dreams come into fruition.
And what I loved about it, we got to know each other. And I think maybe we didn't follow the model 100%, because remember when we first got together, there's about 26 or 30 people or something in that room. And there was all this structure. The meeting was supposed to begin and end in an hour, begin on time and end in an hour. And
4 hours later, we're still talking.
I know, because it just kind of dwindled down to just the 8 of us. I think there were 8 or so. And then I think it was the intimacy, of us just being a few of us, and we just collectively just decided we were just going to go until we were done. It would be 3 or 4
we just knew each
later.
other so well.
Yes, yeah. I that was, I mean, it was amazing. I know I was the most resistant. I know that, and but I finally came around, and now I swear by it. Yeah, I had just retired, but it's amazing, and I try to, and I always leave a life lesson for my audience at the end of each show, and most of them are revelations that I just recently got. You're never too old to follow your dream. We have these, I think we get these ideas planted in us by a power greater than we are. And we are the instruments that, it's our responsibility, I think, to nurse that idea. And and then when we were all together and had that mutual support, wow, it was powerful. It was powerful. Yeah. Well, Cindy, say a little bit about your background, what kind of work you do, but mostly what you're really passionate about. Will you share that?
Yeah. Sure. Well, I've been in the field of mental health for about 30 years. And, it all started really when I grew up during the war in Lebanon. I was just so young when it started, and the first 11 years of my life were basically living in this country that was unpredictable. But the beauty of that, and my perception of that, was it created a lot of passion for me to really help people when they're in an emotional crisis. I wanted to help them heal those wounds, and I felt like being in a war taught me to be more compassionate and empathic and just really connecting with people, even though they're really at their worst. And that felt okay to me. I was okay with that.
Well, how is it that you didn't suffer from the trauma yourself? The trauma of living in an environment that was at war. How did you manage to take care of you?
Well, that's a great question. And I think, there were definitely times where I was scared. I mean, you had bombs going over
Yeah.
you and snipers all around, but really, it really taught me how powerful we are as social beings, that we need that support system and
Yeah.
people just being there for you and keeping it as normal as possible, because that was my normal.
Mhm.
And just, my parents were very grounded and they stayed calm. My mom grew up in the Great Depression, so she had quite a bit of adversity in her life and just kind of didn't let it overpower her and overcome the goodness that was in her life. And so I
Oh,
really learned a lot from that and just focused on the good things that were going on, which created a lot of gratitude and things that I use a lot with my coaching clients that are very
mhm.
helpful. So,
Yeah. So your mom modeled a lot of that resiliency and that, yeah, maintaining normalcy as best you can under
yeah.
such, crazy circumstances. I mean, I can't imagine. I think there's some communities, in this country that, you could say are kind of war torn, but
Yeah.
that's not our reality. And I was just, really amazed at how, and now, I mean, I can understand it because, you developed the resiliency, the that calm in the eye of the storm, that
Mhm.
kind of, um, you have that affect, and I know that serves you well when you're working with people. So that's amazing. That's amazing. I'm fascinated by that. I don't know. I think I'd be a loony bird if I had gone through that. I don't.
Yeah. Well, I definitely wanted, I got myself into counseling as an adult because we all have stuff, and so I just wanted to make sure that wasn't going to interfere with my relationships with my clients. And
Yeah.
I wanted to also feel vulnerable and know what
Mhm.
that feels like when, they're talking to me, sharing their deepest, darkest stuff.
Yeah.
So that kind of pushed me past my comfort zone to grow myself. So
Mhm.
that was a good thing.
So, of all the things that you've done, well, kind of run it down again. You said you worked in a mental health facility where people are inpatient, right? And what other kinds
Yes.
of work environments have you worked in?
I worked in a variety of settings, mostly an emergency department setting for 15 years, where I was able just to see a large variety of, from suicide attempts to, alcohol withdrawal to a person in a manic phase or psychotic or with
Yeah.
Alzheimer's. I also dealt with, sexual assaults and child abuse cases. So it was just a great variety of, working with people and seeing them at their lowest and just being
Yes.
able to bring them up as much as I could in a short period of time.
Yes.
But I noticed talking with them that there was something lacking. It was more than just the mental health part. They didn't have a sense of support, a support system. They didn't have a sense of spirituality. And I'm not talking religion. I'm just
Oh.
talking, how do they connect with the people and the
Mm.
world and the environment and their community? And
Mhm.
they just didn't. And then there was a lot of physical issues too that interfered with their emotional health and well-being. So that kind of drove me to be more curious and to go into getting my personal training certification,
Oh.
so then I could incorporate the physical aspect of, health in with the mental part, because they're so interconnected. You can't separate them.
No, we're
And then
holistic. I
it wasn't,
mean, yeah.
yes, yes.
So
And, we,
there's a little delay, isn't there? Okay. All right.
okay,
What I
that's
wanted um, to mention is that I think you were instrumental in making sure that we incorporated some self-care in
Mm-hmm.
the case management training that we do as a team. And
Yes.
because you apparently you figured it out for yourself that for you to take on the problems of people who are really, dealing with a huge amount of stress or fear or those kinds of very strong emotions,
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
that it weighs on you. You can't
Mm-hmm.
avoid being impacted by it. So go ahead and, I mean, you did figure that
Yeah.
out, but go ahead and say.
Yeah, that is something. It's so important, Barbara. I mean, caretakers in general, we're so passionate about helping other people that we tend to put ourselves on the back burner.
Yeah.
And this is a really high burnout field that we're in, especially seeing, emotional stress throughout the day and just really wanting to create a better space for people. So because I wanted to do that, really, I don't even consider retiring because I love what I do so much, but I do have to practice self-care so I can continue doing this and just creating that balance of, okay, what am I doing for myself so that I can be more present with my clients and not be sick and not be tired and
Drained.
Exhausted myself, because it's not for anybody.
Yeah,
So.
that's definitely going to be one of the life lessons I want to leave with the audience. You can only help people as much as you help yourself. You have to take care of yourself, and self-care is so important. And I think that's what made us a hit when we were doing the case management training. I think people were expecting that we're going to be all about the client. And, we ended up, taking a whole different approach and nurturing them, by offering them some, tell the audience about some of the self-care ideas that you shared with some of the groups that we worked with.
Sure. Well, a big challenge for caretakers is they don't have a lot of time and they don't want just another thing on their plate. So I try to be very creative with, not taking any more time out of their day, whether it's with their family or things they do for fun or their work. So just some simple breathing exercises just to be aware of how you're breathing. And that can really counteract a lot of stress when you breathe through your belly, through your stomach, instead of breathing through your chest, like a lot of us tend to do when we're under stress.
Right.
So just getting in touch with that, throughout the day and just doing some deep breathing exercises, in through your nose, out through your mouth, even just a few times throughout the day can be so beneficial.
Yes.
So that's
and I love the reaction of the people in the class. You would come up with things that they wouldn't need anything, they wouldn't have to have any prop. They could just do. I mean, breathing is something that you're going to do anyway. And I remember the first time you did that and you taught them this, this just to focus on their breath. People don't even do that. I mean, and we do breathe in a shallow way until it's a mindful thing. And I loved how you introduced that, and the reaction after what did you spend? Maybe about 5 minutes or so. And they were like, wow.
They just felt so recharged.
Yeah.
It is very rejuvenating, and it just gives you that mental clarity to, talk to the next person or just finish your work day and then feel energized when you get home, not feeling exhausted and not being able to spend time with the people you really love.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I got an idea. Can you kind of talk the audience through, a couple of minutes of this exercise? I'll do it with you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, you guys, listen up.
So I just so just get comfortable in your space, preferably, in a comfortable chair, and try to
Okay.
keep your back comfortable because that straight spine is better energy flow. So you're able to get that oxygen really flowing in. And if you feel comfortable, you can just close your eyes or just gaze downwards. Just rest your eyes and keep your shoulders down and relaxed. You can just rest your hands loosely on your lap and just place both your feet on the floor. And just be aware of your breathing. Try to slow down your breathing. And just take a nice, comfortable breath in through your nose, feeling your belly rise. So you can put one of your hands on your belly and just feel it rise as you inhale. And then exhale through your mouth, feeling your belly sinking back in. Take another comfortable breath in through your nose, feeling your belly rise a little bit more this time. And then breathe out slowly through your mouth, feeling your belly sinking back in.
Wow, that does feel good. And then what did that take? About a minute?
Yeah.
It is.
Not
It
even. I
really
know
is
it's great.
Yeah,
Mm.
and you taught a couple other things too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can think of any off the top, but I know that you do chair yoga. You teach that.
Yes, that's a
Yes.
great one too, because there are a lot of employers that really don't want you leaving your workspace often.
Yeah,
So
especially go
just
smoke
getting some
cigarettes.
good yeah, yes, yes,
Uh-huh.
yes. Sitting all day is like the new smoking. It's really bad on the heart, and
Mhm.
it's just so important to uh, stay moving and get that blood flowing and that oxygen going in throughout your body. It
Yeah.
really helps with, uh, lessening your risk of getting disease.
Yeah.
And that deep breathing really does a good job getting that oxygen in throughout your body, because lack of oxygen is what creates disease. So I love that exercise. It's
Wow.
so
Yeah.
easy to
And you
do.
can do it
Doesn't
anytime,
cost
anytime,
anytime.
whenever you feel stressed,
Yes.
um, or challenged, or when
Mm-hmm.
the advice has always been, to stop and think before you speak, or just to take a minute,
Mm-hmm.
take
Right.
time out to collect yourself, and to incorporate that
Yes.
breathing while you do it. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for that
Yeah.
demonstration. So
Sure. My pleasure.
it's a really cool thing. And well, since we're mostly talking about workplace health. Would you say that that's your passion, or what would you say is your passion in terms of
I
all the
love,
work that you do?
yeah, workplace wellness is a big passion because people are just getting more stressed out. They don't have that work-life balance. And really, half of your waking life is at work.
I
Sometimes people
know.
see their coworkers more than they do their own family. So it's a really important place to feel good and stay healthy and get your activity in instead of, not being able to get it in the rest of the day because other things come up. So you can get 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, maybe walking up and down the stairs, doing a deep breathing exercise,
Yeah.
just doing something to stay active. And that keeps the employers happy because you're more productive, you make less mistakes, you're more focused, you have better concentration, and you don't call in sick as often than people that don't practice self-care. So it's really a win-win all around.
For everybody concerned.
A big
and the clients coming in, you can model some of that or teach them even how to,
Yes.
There's still quite a few people that are having trouble breaking habits that I think, definitely add to the stress. And I know one of the things that you do that I love to tell prospective clients about is smoking cessation or tobacco cessation. Is that what you call it?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's still a lot of hardcore folk out there who just can't break the habit. So what is it about the technique that you teach that you think makes it work or makes a difference for people who say they've tried everything?
Right. And they probably in their best way have tried everything. The big challenge with that, and that's with anything, whether it's trying to quit smoking or lose weight or whatever that is, oftentimes they create goals that just aren't achievable for them. Like they want to quit tomorrow. And I tell them if it was that easy, you would have already done it. So I'm not the type of coach that's going to push them really hard and have them create goals that are just really unrealistic for them because they have a relationship with the cigarettes. There's a grieving that goes along with it. And so I just encourage them to take it gradually. And really for long-term success, that works better than trying to push them to try to quit in just a couple of weeks.
And so don't allow them to beat themselves up when they, have a setback. Yeah. So you got to be kind to yourself.
This is a time to be gentle with yourself, to expect setbacks, and that doesn't mean that you have to start from square one. You just pick up from where you left and, learn about what happened and how to do it differently the next time. And so we create goals that are very kind of baby steps, very achievable, that they feel confident with, whether it's just giving up one cigarette a day, oh yeah, I can do that. That's doable. Okay, let's start with that. And before you know it, they're giving up several cigarettes a day, and then they're smoke-free. But they've developed really good habits along the way to take the place of smoking, whether it's exercise.
I did go through that myself.
Getting back to a hobby. Okay.
I did.
Yeah,
for me, I think it's just a personality trait. Whenever I feel helpless or powerless, that's when I take on something that I think I have control over, and it was one of those times. And I think I kept one cigarette up in the very top cabinet, way in the back, and just cleaned up everything, got rid of all the ashtrays, cleaned the car inside and out. So
keeping your hands busy and just distracting yourself with other things is so important. And just having somebody, a loved one that's not going to judge you, that's going to be supportive to, help hold you accountable and keep you on track is important too. So.
Yeah, that is.
BEJ and Associates LLC offers a broad array of services, including life coaching to help achieve your personal goals, planning, facilitation, and presentations of workshops, seminars, and conferences, various customized services, diverse and personalized addictions intervention, and organizational staff development. We specialize in dismantling barriers to individual and organizational achievement. BEJ and Associates. Enlighten, inspire, motivate at bej-associates.com.
But let's just stick with this this workplace health theme. Is there, and this is when it gets really complicated, because from my own experience, I know that sometimes you can have a really horrible boss or a coworker who undermines you, or where you have some actual conflict with. So how would you coach someone in that kind of situation?
Yeah. Well, you have just a couple of choices. You can change the way you think about that person, or, then there's some people that just leave the situation. Most people don't want to do that, because sometimes it's something about you that's triggering something about that other person. So if you leave and go to another job, that same pattern might come up again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like you can't get past it. You can't get past it until you learn that lesson. So.
Right. So I think when you build up your self-image and you feel good about yourself and you see the good in that person. So, okay, maybe you don't like a certain quality of your supervisor, but there are a lot of other good qualities about that person. Focusing on that and just focusing on what needs to get done. And that doesn't mean you have to agree with what needs to get done. It's not the same thing. It's just getting through it, kind of changing the way you think about it, so you can get through the day.
Yeah.
A lot of my clients will have.
I'm sorry.
A lot of my clients will have positive affirmations and inspirational quotes stuck on their computer or at their work desk, just to kind of remind them and keep them grounded on, just focus on what you have control over and what's in your circle, and not worry about what's outside of your circle, because that creates a lot of stress and a lot of feeling helpless. So I always make sure there, is that something you have control over? If not, you need to try to let it go and release that.
And like they say, everybody we encounter, either they have a gift for us or we have a gift for them. And sometimes we encounter people who, I guess, exhibit traits that, that are off-putting, but that usually means that maybe there may be a little bit about that trait that you have to work on for yourself.
Exactly.
I'm not sure exactly how. Yeah, but so.
Yeah, I tell people, we're all students and we're all teachers.
Yeah.
So whoever we come across in life, we're teaching them something and they're teaching us something, whether that's patience or, tolerance or whatever it is, or maybe needing to be more assertive. Maybe there's somebody at work that you think is really aggressive. Well, maybe you can look at it, he's teaching me that I may just need to be more assertive, not aggressive, but he's teaching me that I need to be a little bit more getting my needs met and not be so passive, for example.
Yes. I think that's really good advice. I think it's really good advice that you've just shared, that if you do encounter someone and they trigger some really negative responses in you, there's a likelihood that they have a lesson for you, and to kind of see it through, try to open up and see what it is that, or see if you can figure out what it is that you're supposed to learn from that person. And
that really works beautifully, Barbara, because I have a lot of clients that have some really significant issues at work, and they're on leave because of it. I mean, that's how badly it affected them. But just learning to change the way they think about either that person or that situation has really helped them a lot, and they're just doing so much better at work now.
And so not only at work, but even at home. Because,
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
people think that, well, this is my mother and she's supposed to be nurturing and loving, but, her journey may have not allowed her to develop those qualities to the extent that you think you need them. And so
Right.
sometimes we have to work through those kinds of things with people who we can't just walk away from. You want to have a
Sure.
relationship with them. So, but yeah, work, like you said, you spend half your life there or more, your waking life.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, so it's important to be able to negotiate that space and that environment and be, and find ways to be okay. And you teach some great skills in that area. So I want to transition now, and I want to talk about this. Can you see it?
Yes, my passion.
Yes. Okay. I want that camera to stay on here for a minute so people can see. And you know what you're going to have to say about this. So go ahead. I'm going to give you a minute to see if you're going to get around to it.
Well, you know what? I heard a statistic that really scared me because as a mother of two children, adult children now, it scared me. And the statistic was there is such a global epidemic, not just in this country, but across the world, of disease, childhood obesity. Doctors are seeing disease in children that they normally wouldn't have seen until a person was in their 60s.
Yeah,
like type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure, high cholesterol. And so the statistic I heard a few years ago was that if by the end of 2020, which is only around the corner, if that statistic of obesity doesn't repair itself, we could be the first generation of parents to outlive our children.
God. Oh,
and
wow.
I felt like I really needed to be a part of making an impact in that realm. And so I wrote the book that takes a family approach because it's so hard to do things on your own sometimes.
Right.
If your family's not on board with you wanting to eat healthier, then it's going to be really challenging to stay on that path. So I took a family approach to do things together, to make a healthy lifestyle normal for children. So when they grow up, it just is part of their lifestyle, and it just has that domino effect.
Let me just reiterate the title in case they didn't see it especially for the radio. The name, we forget this is going to be just all audio, but the title of Cindy's book is Healthy Weight. It's a Family Affair by Cindy Salidi Goulding. And it is an excellent read. And that's what we're talking about, people. So, and I do want to give you this opportunity to mention the response you got from Mrs. Michelle Obama and her people when you sent in your book for her review. So I put it out there.
Well,
so what did she say?
I wanted to put it out there, and I know she was working on her program, the Let's Move project. And I felt this would be a great fit for that because it really focuses on getting the whole family involved as a preventive measure instead of being reactive. So I mailed one of my books to the White House, and she sent me a beautiful letter in reply saying that she was just happy to see a book like that out and that we could possibly collaborate at some point, and just to keep it going and starting out in the community with getting people in the community healthy. And so that's what I've been doing.
Yes. And I'm so proud of you for that. I have yet to write a book. and
Mhm.
you way ahead of me by 20 years, but I think that that's awesome. And it is,
Yeah.
I never heard you say it like that. And I didn't even realize that it was that we're at that point. But I do know that
Mhm.
um, nutrition is different. Everything that was a part of our lives growing up is different for children these days. And there are
Yes.
parents working 2 and 3 jobs, and so most of what
Right.
kids eat are at fast food restaurants or, the processed foods and all of that. I don't know about you, but it really bothers me to think that if we don't change how our children eat, then we may see ourselves burying our kids, outliving them. I mean, this is serious business. So, what I want to do, just in case you don't get around to buying Cindy Goulding's book, Healthy Weight, It's a Family Affair, I'm going to read to you the second chapter, very short, and the title is Epidemic and Statistics. In a typical population of 100 people, 48 are overweight, 44 suffer from stress, 24 don't exercise, 26 have high blood pressure, and 30 have high cholesterol. In the past 30 years, the occurrence of overweight children has doubled, and it is now estimated that 1 in 5 children in the U.S. is overweight. 55% of children and adults are overweight, and 30% are obese. These statistics are growing and becoming an epidemic. Increases in the prevalence of overweight are also being seen in younger children, including preschoolers, according to a 2011 article on obesity from the Obesity Society. According to the National Center for Health Statistics, in a 2010 article, among preschool children aged 2 to 5, obesity increased from 5.0% to 10.4% between 1976 and 1980, and 2000 and 2008, and from 6.5% to 19.6% among those aged 6 to 11. Among adolescents aged 12 to 19, obesity increased from 5.0% to 18.1% during the same period. The CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control, also has recorded that 34% of adults 25 years and over are obese, and 34% are overweight in a 2007-2008 study. In an article by the World Health Organization, 43 million children worldwide under age 5 were overweight in 2010, and in 2008, 1.5 billion adults 20 years and over were overweight, and 1 in 10 of adults worldwide were obese. Genetics and environment can also influence obesity among ethnic groups. Cardiovascular disease is a main disease connected to obesity. Type 2 diabetes, which is mostly diet related, and high blood pressure are becoming more common diseases among the younger generation. Even a 5% to 10% loss of body weight is significant for reversing medical issues. So gradual weight loss can be a big step in reversing early onset of disease and can also reverse current diagnosis of disease. Children are being diagnosed with high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes more commonly than in the past. Type 2 diabetes is usually caused by a person's food choices and lack of exercise. High blood pressure is often caused by stress, unhealthy food choices, and lack of exercise. Medical expenses are costlier than ever for both children and adults, often related to weight. According to the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, 2011, unhealthy weight gain due to poor diet and lack of exercise is responsible for over 300,000 deaths each year. The annual cost to society for obesity is estimated at nearly $100 billion. Overweight children are much more likely to become overweight adults unless they adopt and maintain healthier patterns of eating and exercise. Weight is a symptom of other things, including a lack of physical activity, emotional eating, low self-esteem, depression, anxiety, lack of sleep, lack of planning and organization, poor time management, stress, boredom, and perceived beliefs that eating healthy is expensive. Okay, you guys, please bear with me just a little bit longer because I want to read just a little bit from another chapter. Chapter 33, and the title is Moving Beyond Excuses. I don't know about you, but I always have a bunch. And it is addressed in the book as well. So it's a good read, I'm telling you, and it's worth it. Okay, so this starts out with a quote from Gabriel Muriel, and he says, "He who excuses himself accuses himself." Now that's deep. Marinate on that. And then the chapter starts out, "It's important to change our way of thinking and behavior when it comes to exercising and eating healthy if we want to achieve success individually and as a family. Excuses that I will be addressing, and that Cindy will be addresses in the book, include holiday eating, unhealthy snacks around the office or at home, not enjoying exercise, bad weather, perceptions that healthy food and exercising are too expensive, and having physical limitations that limit us and prevent us from making lifelong changes for our health. All or nothing thinking also limits our options." I'll stop there, but just keep those excuses in mind because they're not good enough. So most of what kids eat are at fast food restaurants or, the processed foods and all of that. So we have a couple more minutes if you want to just elaborate a little more on your findings and what you want to get across to people about that.
Well, again, I think that, a healthy weight and just an overall healthy lifestyle is a journey. But it's, as long as you're on that path and you're staying in that direction, that's a beautiful thing. And just to feel that, as parents, you do have control over what your children can eat by keeping healthy food available, because children are going to eat what's available. So making it easily accessible, putting fruit out, on the counter in a bowl, or putting yogurt or cheese sticks eye level in the refrigerator so they can easily have access to them. Because children are going to eat what's available to them, and they're going to role model what you're eating and your level of activity as well, because they want to please their parents. So I think starting at a very young age is really crucial into developing, lifelong healthy habits. And my book is a little bit different because it really talks about, the emotional part of eating, which really isn't addressed in a lot of books that tell you, here's a certain diet to go on, and here's a certain exercise regimen that's very unrealistic for most of the population. It's really about the underlying cause of why you're eating when you're not hungry. Why do you go for food as a reward instead of, doing something else, like going on a hike with your family?
Exactly.
So
it's just it's just like what we started out with, talking about how human beings are holistic and all parts of us interact. So how we think affects, what we do and how well we take care of ourselves. Our emotional state, like you said, affects what you choose to eat or when you choose to eat. So it's using food to use food when, maybe like you said, a walk would do, or a talk with a friend or something like that. So we do a lot of emotional eating. And kids, they're just little mini versions of us. So they have their stresses and stuff too. But I love the way you wrote it, and nice short chapters, everybody. And you talk about the quality of sleep. And sometimes people don't even, are not aware that there's a tie-in there.
Right. Sleep is so underrated, and it has a huge impact on having a healthy weight. It has a huge impact on our hormones. So does stress, when we're under chronic stress, which oftentimes people are, being a single parent or working 2 and 3 jobs or having a challenging child at home. That's not just every once in a while stress. That is stress on a regular basis. And that can certainly affect our weight and other types of physical illnesses as well. So that's my book really talks about, keeping that in check, whether it's sleep, stress, depression, dealing with picky eaters and how to overcome that. And just, getting through your challenging times and really sticking with, maintaining that healthy lifestyle.
Right. And there's a social aspect too. I'm glad that, I was just thrilled to see that I don't think there's anything you missed. The spiritual aspects and how that impacts, your inclination to take care of yourself. You have a choice in at every moment. It is your choice. So you have to seek balance. And I think you started talking about work-life balance. All of it's about balance. And we can't
your
neglect any
it's a part
aspect
of your
of
health and
ourselves.
well-being, the physical, spiritual, financial health, all of that. There's at least 8 dimensions to wellness.
Yes.
And I talk a lot about that. And happiness is a skill. It's not, if I get this, then I will be happy. The happiness comes first, and then good things come into your life.
Right.
And so I talk about that in my book, how that affects weight also. It affects everything in your life. And happiness is a skill. And a prerequisite to happiness is serving other people, like volunteering, and being grateful for the things that you have.
Wow.
And those are things that people can practice. And it's very, very doable for people to create that level of happiness in their lives.
Right. And this is a quick read, and it's I think very comprehensive for anybody who doesn't feel like they have the time to delve into something like this. This is about just a little more. Oh, there are pictures in the back. I didn't remember seeing those.
Yeah, those are
exercise routine. Cindy, that's
Yeah.
great.
They don't
No.
require any equipment, and they're even pregnant women and elderly people can do them. So they're very effective exercises that work the whole body. So
Boy, so somebody could take your book and create a balanced lifestyle for themselves, right?
yes,
Or at least get
absolutely.
started on it.
Yes,
Thank you,
yes.
Cindy, so much. And
My pleasure.
and this is not going to be the end. This won't be the last time you hear from Cindy. We will get together. You and Mike will get together because you're the dynamic duo when it comes to training and whatever else you do together. I mean, well, not everything you do together, but I look forward to that interview when I'll be interviewing both of you together. So, but thank you for spending this time with us and sharing all your sage advice and encouragement and inspiration. Thank you so much. And you are a pleasure to work with.
Thank you, Barbara, for having me.
Yes.
Thank you, as you are.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Well, that's our show for today. I want to thank you again for tuning in to Life Lessons with Barbara. And I want to give a huge shout out to Black Wall Street Radio. Thank you for making this show possible. Again, I'm your host, Barbara Elaine Johnson, and I hope you got at least one blessing from what you heard today. Also know that my associates and I are all certified Master Life Coaches and may be available for one-on-one virtual coaching. If interested in coaching or hosting your own show on Black Wall Street Radio, please go to my website, BEJ-Associates. Contact us at BEJ-Associates.com/contact us. I just want to elaborate a little bit on the services that we offer at BEJ and Associates. We offer the life coaching, of course. We provide supportive and transformational life coaching services to individuals who seek to overcome personal challenges or who want to achieve a major life goal or to finally manifest a lifelong dream. We also offer consulting services to businesses and organizations. Actually, we're experts at helping them determine what's blocking the business ability to grow. And we offer real world strategies for last. By going to the website, BEJ-Associates.com/contact us and leave us your contact information, along with a brief description of what you'd like to discuss. And also be reminded to check out all the other goodies I talked about at the beginning of the show that you can find on BEJ-Associates.com/radio. As always, before we close, I want to leave you with one life lesson to ponder for the week. Today, our lesson comes from what you just heard Cindy Goulding say, and what she told us is that happiness is a skill. And one way to nurture that skill is to help others and be grateful for what you have. Have a beautiful week. Namaste.
BEJ and Associates LLC offers a broad array of services, including life coaching to help achieve your personal goals, planning, facilitation, and presentations of workshops, seminars, and conferences, various customized services, diverse and personalized addictions intervention, and organizational staff development. We specialize in dismantling barriers to individual and organizational achievement. BEJ and Associates. Enlighten, inspire, motivate at bej-associates.com.